Now on Coast TV News.
A murky Monday for Delmarva. An upper-level low to our west is bringing occasional rain to Delmarva this morning. More on and off rain through Tuesday, maybe some thunder too. I'll track it on Futurecast coming up next.
Milton flood funding, where town officials are turning to in dealing with the effects of erosion.
Boardwalk rules tighten, the new policy for some Ocean City businesses about to go into effect.
Pilot Town project push. The public hearing in Lewis set for tonight on the latest housing development in the city.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Monday, May 5th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Cinco de Mayo, and I know there are some festivities over the weekend. I think there's actually some planned for today as well.
I think so, but I know Bob is celebrating big today.
Oh.
Not because of Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Bob, congratulations. It's your anniversary with your wife, Sue.
Happy anniversary, Bob.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah, 13 years with my lovely wife, Susan. Hard to believe that it goes that fast. Maybe she thinks otherwise, but Sue, if you're watching, love you and happy anniversary. You may not be up yet, but I'll touch base later. We're looking at lots of clouds right now. We're looking at some showers around Lewis, back through Ocean View, Fenwick Island too. It's a murky Monday morning. Snow Hill, seeing some heavier showers up to Ocean Pines too. Eastern Shore right now, you are quiet and dry, but more rain moving through the Crisfield area. We have an upper level low back to the west that's bringing in all this moisture up the East Coast, seeing some storms in the Carolinas. There's that upper level low that's sending these pulses of energy our way in periods of showers. Lower 60s out the door, inland areas with some 50s at the coast right now. We have an onshore flow. We've got some limited visibility too. Only 3/4 of a mile in fog in Salisbury, 2.5 in Ocean City. Take it slow this morning. There's some fog. There's some showers out there. Futurecast really not indicating that too much. Could see some breaks in the clouds throughout the day with 60s and 70s inland, and I think still a few showers more than what Futurecast is showing. And this evening, maybe a pop-up thunderstorm as well. So kind of a murky Monday, and temperatures where they should be into the lower 70s. More on this kind of gloomy weather and how long it will stick around coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Some of what Bob was talking about, so let's check out the road conditions out there. This is in Georgetown, and you can see maybe out in the distance some of the thick clouds with the lights coming up from the street lights. Overall, it is just a damp start to our work week. Our top story this hour, Milton officials asking the Army Corps of Engineers for help in protection from flood damage and erosion.
Milton's location between the Broadkill River and the Delaware Bay makes it vulnerable, and the town is asking the Army Corps for money to conduct studies and consider projects that restore and conserve the area.
At Monday's meeting, Town Council will consider sending a letter to the Army Corps about this. If accepted, the federal government will pay for the feasibility study of a cost of up to $200,000. Some people living in Milton say help is needed.
Protecting is most important for the future generations. They're going to inherit, and we want to leave a healthy legacy for our children to be able to live healthy environments, chemical-free, and protect our waterways.
With an average elevation of just about 60 feet above sea level, flooding is a concern across the entire state of Delaware.
Also at that meeting, updating an ordinance designed to keep big trucks out of the downtown area. Tonight, the Milton Council could vote on this, and this is for trucks that have at least 2 axles and are over 5,000 pounds. There are exceptions if trucks are making deliveries or if the truck is owned by the town. Tonight's meeting takes place at 6:30.
We have an update on that Delaware State Police shooting death last week in Milton. We now know the name of the man who was killed. According to State Police, 44-year-old Gregory Painter came towards troopers with a knife. This is on West Springside Drive. State Police say they tried to stop Painter, who they believed was driving impaired. And when Painter ran from the vehicle and later came at State Police with a knife, it's when 2 troopers fired the guns, shooting Painter. He died at the scene. State Police say per procedure, the troopers are now on administrative leave.
Today, the Bethany Beach Stormwater and Flooding Committee will focus on flooding solutions. According to the agenda, there could be an update regarding the Assawoman Canal Bladder Flap Dam, as well as the town's living shoreline and dredging projects. Today's meeting takes place at 2 p.m. at Town Hall.
In Ocean City, stores on the boardwalk could face bigger fines for some violations. Every boardwalk business has to follow a set of rules that regulate merchandise, and today, town officials will have a second reading for an ordinance on those set of rules. The ordinance adds definitions related to these displays. Mayor and Ocean City Council meeting takes place at 6 p.m.
Also at that meeting, the swearing in of Raymond Austin as Ocean City's new police chief. Austin becomes the third chief over the past 7 months. Ross Bizzarro retired in November, and Michael Colbert has served as the chief in the interim. Austin has over 34 years of law enforcement experience, including graduating from the FBI and National Academy. And happening today in Rehoboth Beach, officials will focus on fire lanes along Baltimore Avenue. An ordinance to change its location and parking is up for discussion. And according to the ordinance, this pertains to the first block of Baltimore Avenue near the new Beach Patrol station. The ordinance says on the north side, fire lanes would be 69 feet going west, and on the south side, lanes would be 64 feet going west. This meeting is taking place in just a few hours at 9 a.m.
More housing could be coming to Lewis. Today, officials will hold a public hearing for final plans about a project called Roosevelt Landing. Here is a location where 8 single-family homes is proposed. This is on Pilot Town Road. According to the plans, it includes open space and a new road. Lewis officials will discuss this tonight at 5:30. Getting a live look now at Washington, D.C. There is the Capitol building. It's a new week there with a familiar topic, tariffs. President Trump sat down with NBC's Kristen Welker. Use of tariffs was one of several discussed.
NBC's Bianca Fucini shows us what Trump expects now that he has passed the 100-day mark in office.
Logically, I mean, the fake news was
from the impact of tariffs.
The tariffs are going to make us rich. We're going to be a very rich country.
To the potential for a recession.
Anything can happen, but I think we're going to have the greatest economy in the history of our country. I think we're going to have the greatest economic boom in history.
Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker covered a lot of ground in her exclusive interview with President Donald Trump, starting with the economy.
I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job.
The president defended his tariff policy, which polling shows most Americans remain skeptical of, and analysts say could lead to higher prices. Small businesses in particular are asking for relief, but Trump says it isn't necessary.
They're not going to need it.
Okay.
They're going to make so much money.
The president has said immigration is the most important issue of his administration. He told Welker he's fulfilling his campaign promise with mass deportations. But critics say the administration is deporting people without due process and violating the Constitution.
Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
The sit-down comes just days after the president marked 100 days in office, where the latest NBC News poll shows his approval rating sliding from his inauguration. Only 45% of Americans approve of the job he's doing. In Washington, Bianca Fucini, NBC News.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, mental health matters. How Cape Henlopen students look to turn a tragedy into a way forward.
Also, new traffic concepts in Bethany Beach, how more crosswalks could be coming to the town.
But first, end of an era why Microsoft made the decision to shut down Skype. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
It is 5:11 on this murky Monday morning. Bay Health Cam in Dover. Yeah, looking a little overcast, 63 there. Lower visibility in Salisbury right now, 3/4 of a mile in fog, 2.5 miles in Ocean City, so watch for that. Also a few showers coming up through coastal Sussex County, especially around Fenwick Island right now through Ocean City, and then south and west towards Snow Hill. Eastern Shore, you're okay, but we have more showers kind of popping up to the south. So have the umbrella handy this morning as we have this flow out of the south. south, and that's around this pesky upper level low back to our west. So drivecast this morning. Use caution out there around the school buses and heading to work and school. Showers and fog. I gave it the yellow light out the door, and I think we're still looking at some scattered showers this afternoon and evening for the commute, and I gave it the yellow light for that chance of rain.
Bob, BB Healthcare's parking garage at the main entrance at the Margaret H. Rollins Lewis campus is expected to reopen today. That structure closed over the weekend for cleaning.
Happening today, according to DelDOT, a Selbyville road closure is going into effect. On your screen is Sound Church Road. It's between Route 54 and Lakeview Drive. DelDOT says work will include road reconstruction and the adding of shoulders. That work is expected to last through May 27th. Detours are in place for traffic heading both ways.
Federal student loan collections start back up today, and the Department of Education is ending a roughly 5-year-long pandemic-era pause. The move could impact more than 5 million borrowers. The department is urging borrowers in default to start making a monthly payment, enroll in an income-driven repayment loan, or sign up for loan rehabilitation.
Microsoft says it is shutting down Skype today after 21 years. The tech giant is hoping to steer users to its Teams application as a replacement. In a February blog, Microsoft stated that retiring Skype would help it better adapt to changing consumer needs. And as part of the transition, it had already stopped selling Skype credit and calling feature plans to new users.
It's a foggy start in Salisbury this morning, 62 on the Spicer Brothers cam. You can see the limited visibility. Use the low beam headlights. It is a murky Monday for the region with showers and areas of fog thanks to a cutoff area of low pressure to our west. We keep it unsettled with showers the next couple of days and a few thunderstorms possible too. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
We're about to hit 5:16 on this Monday morning, and you're looking at, you can see that fog out in the distance there in Dover. And Bob, you're tracking that, and actually some showers for parts of our area.
Absolutely, Matt. You can see on the Dover cam right now, the visibility not too bad there. But then we looked at the Spicer Brothers cam in Salisbury, and you're socked in with the fog there. So it's a little worse down into Maryland. Our storyline is we've got the fog this morning, and we could be seeing some gusty thunderstorms possible this afternoon and this evening. Right now, that's a low chance. And then Tuesday, it's mild with a morning shower, otherwise clearing skies and temperatures near 80 degrees. So all in all, even though it is murky, I think we will see some breaks of decent weather from time to time next couple of days. Right now, it's lots of clouds all across the area with fog as well. And we're seeing some showers now, heavier showers offshore from Dewey Beach down to Ocean View and Fenwick Island. But Fenwick Island, you're in the rain, as is Ocean City. A heavier shower around Newark right now, back through Snow Hill, Westover, and then farther southwest, you're seeing some heavier showers as well. So have the umbrella handy. You're quite across the eastern shore right now, but you see these showers now moving from south to north, from Crisfield up to Ocean City. So I think everybody will get in on the rain at some point as we go through this morning, as we have thunderstorms bubbling up across North Carolina and Virginia right now. A little more energy off to our south and west, and rain off of Cape Hatteras, as we are watching an upper level low spinning to our west, and that's sending these pulses of energy our way. And every once in a while, we are seeing those showers. Out the door, pretty mild, lower 60s inland, around 64 in Seaford, 63 in Red, and 57, however, Bethany Beach, and 58 in Rehoboth. So a little cooler there with the flow off the ocean, that wind coming out of the southeast. So this morning, we will see some hit and miss showers, maybe a little bit more coverage than we're seeing on Futurecast right now with the clouds, and mild too by mid-morning into the 60s. By noon, I think we could see some breaks in the overcast with temperatures into the 70s, but cooler 50s and 60s at the beaches. As we go into the afternoon, mainly dry with 60s and 70s. I think we could see a few evening showers and storms. Otherwise, that will give way to mainly cloudy skies through the overnight hours. Maybe some morning fog again on Tuesday. We go into the mid-morning hour. We're in the 60s and then 70s to around 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. We'll see a lot of sunshine, but with that southerly flow, I think we could still see a few showers. And this afternoon, we have a low chance of seeing severe weather from Seaford to Salisbury and the eastern shore as well. A small chance of large hail and maybe some stronger winds, but I think those storms are pretty isolated. As we go down the road, we're going to see another area of low pressure by Friday. That's going to bring more rain later Friday on into Saturday, so it looks like the first half of the weekend could be kind of wet. As far as the rain with this system goes, not a lot the next 2 days. We're looking at about 1/10 to about 2/10 of an inch, maybe higher amounts if you get under one of those heavier showers. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 73 on your Cinco de Mayo, a little wet and foggy, and then Tuesday 79 with some hit and miss showers. We dry it out Wednesday and Thursday with mid-70s for highs, and then cooler with rain increasing again. Friday 68, 70 as we go into Saturday with showers, but I think a better end to the weekend. Sunday partly cloudy and 75. A good time to win an umbrella. That's exactly what Lisa Ludwig did from Princess Anne, Maryland. Congratulations to her from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
As the summer is upon us, that means more people will be walking and riding their bikes. But in one coastal town, a study was done to see how to make that town safer.
Coast TV news reporter Brandon Ferguson was in our Coast Copter and shows us from above the potential changes.
Here in Bethany Beach, an over 400-page traffic study was done for the town to make it safer for pedestrians, especially in the summertime. And now we're looking down from our Coast Copter at one of the focuses of the study, North Pennsylvania Avenue near 1st and 2nd Street. One of the concepts of this study is to possibly extend the avenue to make it safer for pedestrians.
On your screen now are those concept plans. The blue lines are the changes the study calls for.
You never feel too safe when you're on the road.
This would make the road wider and create more room for a parking lane and a sidewalk. Right now, parts of Pennsylvania Avenue only have those things on one side. But Stephanie Sheldon doesn't see the need to change anything in Bethany.
I think it's fine how it is. It's been this way for many years. I don't think there's been too much trouble.
Pat Cookston rides her bike through Bethany all the time. She says change is needed.
I'd like to have is just a designated bike lanes on both sides of the road.
There's no immediate date set on when the Bethany Beach Town Council will look at these concepts from the study for these streets. From the Coast Copter above Bethany Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
An opportunity for locals to give back. The Blood Bank of Delmarva is hosting a blood drive at Sussex Academy this week. The organization says there are still appointments available. And this event not only supports local blood supply, but it also allows the organization to continue its scholarship program for Sussex Academy. That event is Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Up next, Mental Health Matters. We'll show you how Cape Henlopen High School students are emphasizing that importance with the help of a national organization. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Mental health is something everyone should be aware of, and that includes athletes. In 2019, Morgan Rogers, a lacrosse player at Duke University, tragically died in July after battling mental health struggles. A year after her death, family and friends came together to create Morgan's message to honor her legacy. This weekend, Cape Henlopen hosted an event to help spread that message for the 3rd year. Nora Block is a junior at Cape Henlopen High School and plays on the school field hockey team. She understands the struggles of juggling so many things at once.
It can be really hard in school to balance your academics, your social life, and your sport. So really just, being there for people to reach out for help when they need it.
All the money made from the $5 entry, raffle, and baked goods will go towards continuing Morgan's message, as well as donating to Sean's House, a place that provides 24/7 service to help students struggling with mental health.
In Ocean View, the town is revitalizing its memorial garden. As you can see with these pictures here, it shows people planting and caring for flowers using new mushroom soil they say was donated from Millville Organic Center. Town says it expects the hard work to pay off in the coming weeks.
Matt, it's a rainy start to our Monday, coming off of a gloomy Sunday. Good Sunday for napping. Yeah.
Well, I was in Rehoboth Beach yesterday during that rain. Bob, overall, we got a wet period along the coast to start.
Should have been there Saturday.
I was there too.
Matt
Took advantage of both, or experienced both.
Yeah, well, at least you were probably paying attention to my forecast. I don't know if Matt was, but yeah, no, it was a murky Sunday. Glad I got my fertilizer down on Saturday. Watch for some fog at the beaches this morning with that onshore flow. Waves about 2 to 4 feet. Lots of clouds for Fenwick Island and Ocean City today. Highs in the 60s, some periodic showers from time to time, especially this morning. And then Lewis could see mainly a morning shower today. It looks kind of gloomy heading up to Cape May on the ferry. Rehoboth looking at mid-60s for high there today. And then on the Bayside, 1 to 2 foot waves. I think you could get into the lower 70s today, both there and Crisfield. Lots of clouds, a few showers, maybe an evening storm on the way. It stays pretty unsettled through Tuesday, then more unsettled weather by the end of the weekend to a part of the weekend. I'll have much more on this unsettled work week forecast coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on Coast TV News today, repayment resumes for student loans. We'll tell you the options to prevent wage garnishment and other penalties.
Also, OC property tax talks. What is up for review tonight at a public hearing?
And deterring trucks from downtown, we'll show you how Milton plans to make that happen after a meeting today. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
All right, thank you for joining us. It is May 5th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And the time is 5:30. Fog for some of you out there as you get ready for that morning commute.
As I was driving in, I told Bob I passed 4 possums. I don't know if they like this weather. I've never seen that many before on my drive here. And
4 possums.
Yes, maybe they like
That's got to be a sign for something. I don't think it's the apocalypse,
I don't know, Bob, but I was like, Bob, what is that? Do they like this type of weather? But yes, a little foggy if you're driving in this morning.
I'm not an opossum expert, but I'm thinking maybe they're just out and about because it's a little wet out there, it's a little murky, and you definitely have to dodge the critters when we're driving in very early in the morning like we do. But it is pretty wet out there, especially along the coast. We're seeing a few showers now from Ocean View back into Fenwick Island, into the Ocean Pines area. In Ocean City, you're seeing a heavier shower now back through areas near Berlin, so watch for that. Salisbury, you're dry, but I think you've got rain on the doorstep. Eastern Shore is dry, but you see these showers starting to move up from Crisfield into Westover. So heads up Nanacoke and Salisbury, you'll be in the showers here pretty soon, and maybe a brief downpour as we're seeing this south-southeasterly flow. Even some storms back to North Carolina. Heavier rain off of Cape Hatteras. We have this upper-level low that's spinning across the Ohio Valley, and it's pinwheeling this energy across the East Coast. Every once in a while, we're seeing the rain. Temperatures out the door, lower 60s from Salisbury to Milton, 62. That's a popular number in a lot of places. Upper 50s from Rehoboth to Bethany Beach as we have this southeasterly flow. And lower visibility, too. Still pretty foggy around Salisbury, 3/4 of a mile there, 4 miles in Ocean City, as we'll see some areas of showers this morning. Now, this particular model not really picking up on those showers, but we'll see them in the morning hours. Could see some breaks in the overcast around the noon hour. With that, temperatures in the 70s where it's a little sunnier, but where it's cloudier, we're looking at 50s and 60s, and mainly cloudy, I think, into the afternoon hours. And we could see a stray shower or thunderstorm as we go through the evening hours. For the kiddos at the bus stop, be extra careful out there with the limited visibility and the rain. You see that little stop sign pop out on the school bus. You have to stop. Off to school, we're looking at 62 with fog and some scattered showers for the kiddos. And then heading home, we're looking at mainly cloudy skies. 72 could see a pop-up shower, especially as we go into the evening hours.
Thank you, Bob. And here's more evidence of that fog Bob was talking about. This was a look moments ago, high above Ocean City. This is what drivers in that area are dealing with this Monday morning, so be extra careful. And we are now taking a live look at the Vatican. Now that the Pope has been laid to rest, cardinals are gathering for the papal conclave. And final preparations are underway ahead of that conclave to elect a new leader of the Catholic Church. The ancient, highly secretive process to choose a new pope begins Wednesday.
The NBC's Jay Gray shows us the process and the men who are making this decision.
For the Catholic cardinals who've gathered in their holy city, the task they face is as difficult as it is important. Choosing from among them the next leader of their faith.
We are praying for a new pope.
Praying, preparing for the conclave, and talking, though not so much publicly.
It's okay.
The substance, saved for private discussions.
There's a lot of meetings, both formal meetings and what we call congregations, but there's also, even more important, the informal meetings over dinner, coffee, drinks, where they get a chance to get to know each other.
This will be the largest and most diverse conclave in the history of the Catholic Church and will be undoubtedly influenced by the man they're trying to replace.
I think there's a number of issues that the cardinals are looking at as they go into the conclave. First of all is the legacy of Pope Francis.
I'm sure the Pope will be as Franciscus, the same vision, the same dreams.
What is not sure is who that may be. He says that he's looking for the Spirit to give him an idea, as the world later this week looks for the white smoke. Jay Gray, NBC News, the Vatican.
Milton officials are looking to put a halt to truck traffic in town. Some people living in Milton that we spoke to say big rigs like these often roll through, making loud noise and actually causing their homes to shake. The town is now working with DelDOT to potentially update signs directing the trucks to an alternate route. One business owner tells us the signs are long overdue.
They're not reading appropriately, and they don't actually say no trucks. There's this little tiny sign on a post in front of the antique shop on 16 that you can barely read until after you pass it, that says only local delivery. They need that bigger, and they need that before the traffic light so they can turn and make the rerouting.
And the Milton mayor and town council scheduled to review a presentation from DelDOT on the signage changes and also talk about a proposed ordinance at its Monday meeting.
Staying in Milton, the town is also now asking the Army Corps of Engineers for help in protecting from flood damage and erosion.
Town's location between the Broadkill River and the Delaware Bay makes it particularly vulnerable. Milton is asking the Army Corps of Engineers for money for studies and consider projects to restore and conserve the area.
If accepted, the federal government would fund the feasibility study completely up to $200,000. With an average elevation just 60 feet above sea level, flooding is a concern across the entire state of Delaware, including Milton.
Setting Ocean City's property tax rate for the 2026 fiscal year budget, the proposal is to have the rate at just over 44 cents per $100 of assessed value. According to Ocean City officials, that is the same rate as was approved for the 2025 budget. A public hearing on the rate scheduled to occur during tonight's mayor and council meeting.
Stores on the boardwalk in Ocean City could soon face bigger fines for some violations. Every store along the boardwalk has to follow a set of rules that regulate boardwalk merchandise. Today, town officials will hold a second reading for an ordinance on those set rules. And according to the agenda, the ordinance adds definitions related to these boardwalk displays for better clarification. Tonight's meeting takes place at 6 p.m.
Tonight in Bethany Beach, a focus on flood solutions when the Stormwater and Flooding Committee meets. We could see an update on the Assawoman Canal bladder flap dam as well as the town's living shoreline and dredging projects. Today's meeting takes place at 2 p.m. at Town Hall.
Happening today in Rehoboth Beach, officials will focus on fire lanes along Baltimore Avenue. An ordinance to change their location and parking is up for discussion. According to that ordinance, this pertains to the first block of Baltimore Avenue near the new Beach Patrol station. The ordinance says on the north side, fire lanes would be 69 feet going west, and on the south side, the lanes would be 64 feet going west. That meeting is taking place in just a few hours at 9 a.m.
More housing could be coming to Lewis. Today, officials will hold a public hearing for final plans regarding Roosevelt Landing. Here is the location we're talking about. It's where 8 single-family homes are proposed. This is on Pilot Town Road. According to the plans, the project includes open space and a new road. Those officials will discuss this today at 5:30.
The collection of defaulted student loans resumes today after a 5-year pause related to the pandemic. The government says defaulting now can lead to garnishment of state or federal benefits and garnishment of wages starting this summer. The Department of Education estimates about 5 million borrowers have defaulted on student loans, and it says another 4 million are at least 90 days late on those payments.
If your debt gets sent to collections, that goes onto your credit report, and that can impact your ability to get an apartment, a mortgage, a car loan, even some employers check.
If a person is worried about defaulting, experts say they could look into an income-based repayment plan, and the department says a person with a defaulted loan can learn their options through a student aid office's default resolution group.
Got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Milford meets new members. We'll tell you when locals can meet their newest council members.
Also, comeback denied. Phillies gave their fans some late-inning thrills, only to give it back to Arizona in the end.
And Cinco de Mayo celebrations will show you which local bars and restaurants are honoring the holiday in a way that means less money for you. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
It is exactly 5:41 on this foggy Monday morning. Spicer Brothers Cam in Salisbury. You're socked in with the fog. Use the low beam headlights. 62 degrees there. You can see only 3/4 of a mile in fog. There's some places even thicker. 4 miles in Ocean City. Visibility is better to the north. I think some showers that are moving in will help to lift that fog a little bit. Ocean View, you're in the rain right now. Fenwick Island over to Ocean Pines and St. Martin, you're seeing heavier showers. Just south of Salisbury, you're seeing the rain, and then Princess Anne down at Chesapeake Bay. This is all lifting to the north right now, so we'll see the fog and the showers this morning. Even more rain farther to the south. It's an upper level low back to our west. That's kind of pumping in this energy up the coast. Today's checklist: you need the raincoat out the door. Make sure you have the umbrella handy as well. Use the low beams in the fog. You have the fog in Maryland right now. Drive with caution. Pack your patience. It's a Monday morning, back to work and school. Have the sunscreen handy for later, and the sunglasses too. I think we'll see some peaks of sun. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for more on your forecast. It's sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Today is Cinco de Mayo, and many bars and restaurants across Delmarva are celebrating with food and drink specials. Big Chill Surf Cantina in Rehoboth Beach will wrap up the weekend-long celebration today. The restaurant says it's offering $6 house margaritas. Secrets in Ocean City is offering cocktail and food specials such as half-price jerk chicken quesadillas and half-price nachos and more. And Lefties in Lewis is offering taco and margarita specials. Nighttime closures on the Route 50 bridge in Salisbury are expected to end this morning. That's according to the Maryland Department of Transportation. Crews began work on repairs Friday, and we are expected to see those finish around 6 a.m.
A chance for the Phillies to get a series sweep and gain some ground on the National League East leading Mets, but the Phils dug themselves a big hole Sunday. Found themselves, though, with a chance to win the game. At one point, the Diamondbacks led 7-1. It was an 8-6 game in the ninth when Kyle Schwarber does that. A two-out Tater pulls the Phillies to within a run at 8-7. Then it was Alex Bohm delivering with 2 outs. Brandon Marsh scores. We're tied at 8. We go extras. That's where Josh Naylor of Arizona gets it through. The Diamondbacks would score 3 in the frame. Phillies did get a run in the 10th and actually had the winning run at the plate with 1 out, but could not get closer. A wild ride with a disappointing ending on a wet Sunday in South Philly. Phillies lose 11-9. Nationals get a series win. Luis Garcia Jr.'s solo shot in the 7th broke a 1-1 tie. Nats 4-1 over the Reds. And the Orioles, they gave up 7 home runs to the Royals. That is a KC franchise record. The Birds lose the rubber game of this series by a score of 11-6. On the Orioles farm, Yasmil Bousset with a 8th inning 2-run homer. Shorebirds get an 8-4 win over Fayetteville, salvaging the final game of the series. Birds are off tonight. They continue the road trip Tuesday in Myrtle Beach. Reigning NASCAR champ Joey Logano took the lead at Texas with just 4 laps remaining. Gets his first win of the season. It is the 37th of his career. NASCAR heads to Kansas next weekend. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 5, Bayside Lacrosse Championships. For the boys, Decatur takes on Kent Island. 6:45, the girls' championship, Decatur hosting Queen Anne's. 10:30, we have the final score. And on the DSN Plus app, along with those championship games at 4:15, you can catch Laurel taking on Christiana in baseball. 5:30, Cape against Indian River. That's in boys volleyball. 6 p.m., Caravel plays Appoquinimink in girls soccer. And at 7, Milford against Indian River. That is in boys lacrosse.
Today in entertainment news, a star who was in a terrible accident and a program about learning to prevent accidents. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Things have gotten more complicated.
Jeremy Renner is talking about why he turned down a second season of his 2021 Disney Plus series Hawkeye. The actor, who spent months recovering from a near-fatal snowplow accident in 2023, told the High Performance podcast he was offered half of his season 1 salary for season 2. Renner said, I'm sorry, why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? The Hollywood Reporter says a Disney insider disputed the claim but gave no details.
An experiment never done before.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Action all vehicles.
The Nova special Ultimate Crash Test looks at a first-of-its-kind experiment analyzing multi-vehicle highway pileups. Part 1, Countdown, shows the experiment, while Part 2, Impact, goes into the investigation and forensic analysis, looking for clues on improving driver behavior and vehicle design. Nova Ultimate Crash Test premieres Wednesday on PBS, PBS.org, and the PBS app and YouTube channel. Buckling up in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We're seeing foggy conditions out there, especially across Maryland and Salisbury right now on the Tidal Health Cam. Use a low beam headlight, 62 degrees. We've got some showers to your south as we are watching a cutoff area of low pressure to our west, keeping it unsettled with more showers today and tomorrow as well. And then more rain, I think, for the end of the week into the weekend. Your full forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:49, and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury on this Monday morning. And Bob, as we can see, it's very hard to see outside in Salisbury this morning. And if you're driving, be extra cautious because of that fog. But Bob, I think the big thing is people are wondering how much rain we're going to get today.
Well, you know, I don't think a lot, but you definitely need to have the raincoat and the umbrella handy, Elisa. So that's the main hazard this morning is the fog and some showers. And the culprit for this is a cutoff area of low pressure back to our west. That means it's low pressure that's cut off from the main jet stream. So it's just kind of meandering across the Ohio Valley right now. But our flow is coming in out of the southeast. So every once in a while, we'll see a disturbance that will kick off showers and storms. And we're seeing that this morning. And it will be kind of damp and muggy the next couple of days as we watch this system moving on through. Here's the latest clouds and radar. We're seeing a line of showers advancing to the north from Maryland into Delaware, about to move into Ocean View right now, and heavy rain around Fenwick Island back into Little Georgetown, back through Selbyville. You're seeing the rain right now, and that extends to the south and west towards US 50 right now near Carytown. Heads up for heavy rain there. Just to the south of Salisbury is the rain, and then heavier rain near Princess Anne into areas near Chesapeake Bay right now. And we're seeing this line advancing to the north and northwest. So it looks like everybody will get into a brief period of showers and maybe a brief period of heavy rain with this system that's moving through. More rain and even some storms now across eastern North Carolina with heavier rain off the North Carolina coast as we're seeing this moisture coming right up the coast thanks to a cutoff area of low pressure that I just talked about, just kind of spinning its wheels over the Ohio Valley right now. But we're on the eastern side of this system, so we're seeing the moisture coming up the east coast and maybe enough dynamics where we could be looking at some thunderstorms, especially to our west as we go into later today. Temperatures out the door, 62 in Laurel and Georgetown, Willards 62, 57 Bethany Beach, 58 in Rehoboth. A little cooler at the beaches as we have this onshore flow right now. The wind's pretty light out of the southeast, and there's that thick fog across Salisbury, about 3/4 of a mile in fog, so really be careful out there. 4 miles in Ocean City. Now, Futurecast, this particular model not picking up that line of showers that's moving through, but it is lifting to the north. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, kind of foggy this morning. Temperatures slowly warming through the 60s. And then I think some areas inland that get into a little bit of sunshine today break into the 70s around the noon hour, but cooler 50s and 60s at the coast. By mid-afternoon, mostly cloudy, but farther inland, you're in the 70s, cooler at the beaches. Could see a few showers and storms thunderstorms this evening. Otherwise, kind of cloudy, kind of damp, and then through the overnight hours, warm. We're looking at temperatures by morning in the mid-60s. And I think less cloud cover on Tuesday and temperatures in the 70s to near 80 inland. Cooler for the coast, maybe an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but not all that bad. But we do have a marginal or low risk of seeing severe weather from around Middletown, near Dover and Milford, points south and west near Seaford, Eastern Shore, maybe some gusty winds, a little bit of hail as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Really not a big chance. And then by the end of the week, there's another area of low pressure that gives us heavier rain again later Friday into Saturday. So it's the first half of the weekend that could be wet this time around, and the second half a little better. But with this round of rain, maybe about 1,500 to about 2/10 of an inch of rain. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, kind of a wet Cinco de Mayo, but not a washout. 73 today. Tuesday, sunshine, some clouds, some showers, 79 degrees. Then I think we do dry it out Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds, 76, 77 Thursday, and then here comes the rain again by Friday, and it's cooler with a high of 68, 70 with showers on Saturday. I think we dry it out by Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 75.
Thank you, Bob. Happening tonight, the swearing in of city council members in Milford. The four incumbents were not challenged in this year's municipal election. Daniel Marabella, Nadia Zeichel, Danny Perez, and Jason James Sr. will serve another term. Also at tonight's meeting, the determining of the vice mayor and council members. James is the current vice mayor.
New this morning, Maryland is turning turquoise for lung cancer awareness. According to the state, multiple landmarks and buildings will shine turquoise lights for Lung Cancer Action Week. This includes the State House in Annapolis, M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore City Hall, and Camden Yards. The state says the initiative hopes to be a symbol of support and solidarity to those impacted by the disease. And the time is now 5:53, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day, enjoying time outside. On your screen, that is Mindy. As you can see, she is soaking in the sun on her balcony, and Mindy was submitted to us by Jane in Berlin.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
And that is where you'll find that QR code top center. Scan that, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:56, so we're going to take another look at your forecast.
Yeah, Bob, some of you may have to cut through some fog on your drive to work today.
Indeed, and I think some of us are hearing some thunder too and seeing a little lightning at the beaches right now. Here's the latest radar. North of Fenwick Island, between Fenwick Island and Ocean View, lightning and heavy rain with a storm there. Right across far southeast Delaware, then those showers extend farther to the south and west into Maryland. 3/4 of a mile in fog right now in Salisbury, so a little foggy, especially farther to the south. So a few showers, some fog this morning. Leave extra time to get to your destination. And then we're looking at temperatures into the 70s, I think, this afternoon, inland areas, especially where you see a little bit of sunshine around 73. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 79 Tuesday, with a few more showers. We dry it out Wednesday and Thursday with mid-70s, and then the rain returns Friday and Saturday. Cooler 60s and low 70s, but I think a drier second half to the weekend. Then a nice warm up into next week as we see 80 degrees returning by Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, river risks the money ask in Milton to deal with erosion. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.